Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I've got another great guest for you, Sebastian Schmid, and he has a very cool new take on dating. You know me personally, you know it is one of my favorite subjects. I have my PhD in dating, and too bad I didn't have Sebastian's app back in the day. Sebastian, hello.
Hi, Marley. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Appreciate for me and coming on a platform where I can talk about it. This is the first time where I actually openly talk about what I'm building, what we're doing at Tête-à-Tête. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm super happy and super excited to be here.
You're welcome. Well, this is to say it's the first time. So Sebastian is like 12 years old. I mean, when you guys have to check it out on YouTube. I mean, because I know those of you who are listening to this on Spotify or Apple or something are not going to realize the guy is so young. I mean, which is hilarious to me that the next generation of entrepreneurs, I might as well be like his grandmother. But speaking of grandmothers, that's actually how I know him. So I have known Sebastian's grandmother for, oh God, it's probably got to be at least
Long time.
12 years, if not. I mean, it seems like I've known her my whole life, but she is a very, 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 very dear friend of mine. And so if Sebastian is 12 now, you can imagine I met her basically before he was born. But Sebastian has a great story, which he's going to tell us because Sebastian is not in the US, although his mother is American, his grandmother is American as well. But Sebastian, his grandmother and I have had many hours and hours long conversations. She's in Montecito, one of my favorite places. And uh, I've heard about Sebastian and his brothers literally, I feel like since they've been born or since I met Francie, his grandmother. And I'm a huge fan. And so she's always been telling me about these amazing things these grandchildren are doing. And I'm like, I love it because quite frankly, we need more smart kids in the world. That's for sure. And then she offhandedly made a comment about Sebastian's latest foray into business. We know you have a very smart dad, who's like, put it this way, it's like you go to his LinkedIn and you're scared. He's like the real deal, right? And I already know about all their escapades all around the world. So that's already intimidating. So Sebastian comes from good stock. But when Francie told me about what you were working on, I thought, okay, I want to jump in. And I just was kind of like, Francie, like, how did you not mention the name of the app or something before? But anyway, Francie and I have a similar history of she fell and like broke her hip around the time I fell off the horse and broke the back. I mean, it's just, it's one cluster after another. But she and I always come together and, she was saying how Sebastian, how you were in California over the summer. And, let's face it, the entrepreneurial journey is not an easy one. And
Oh, hell no.
to say the least. And Francie does not curse really, but she was like, Sebastian's just learning that a lot of people are full of. And I said, oh yeah, I mean, pretty much they'll tell you, oh yeah, I'll help you. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do what I can. So I'll give them a platform. So let me chat with them. And as I say, it's too bad I'm not 26 or 12 or whatever you are, Sebastian, because your girlfriend would ever run for her money. Anyway, on that note, so Sebastian, tell us first of all,
Yeah.
where are you doing this interview from?
So I'm currently based in Madrid, in Spain. I was doing my master's here last year. Last year I started my master's and I graduated this year in April. And so while I was doing my master's, I had decided to start my dating app at the same time I kind of, or I'd say more towards the middle of my master's, meaning that would have been this year in January. And
Okay.
while I was doing that, I was like in my school's incubator or accelerator program, and I started making good connections and building my network basically here in Madrid. And
Mhm.
so pursue this full time after the summer or throughout the summer. I continued to work on it, launch the MVP throughout the summer, test with
Yep.
a closed group of users,
Yep.
and we saw some cool, good traction that I was happy with, and I was like, okay, let's go back to Madrid. Let's continue working, building, connecting with other entrepreneurs, and just yeah, seeing where I can take this. And Madrid has a really cool, I'd say, environment for entrepreneurs. There are a lot of good schools that you can, you know, go to for if you have a startup in mind, you can use their accelerator programs. And outside of that, there are really great like programs for specifically for startups. And there's just a great network. There are also a lot of entrepreneurs here in Madrid.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Mm.
First of all, where did you go to university?
I went to university in the UK, right outside of, well, I'd say a little bit outside of London. It was about a 2-hour train ride. It was in Exeter, so it was a bit south of the UK. We don't get a lot of sun there, so
Yeah,
it was
but you
long.
liked it?
I did, yeah, I enjoyed it. I did a year abroad,
Mhm.
which was probably the highlight of my, I would say, university experience. I did it in Shanghai, in China. So I
Wow,
worked
great.
for a bit, yeah, and that was really great. I'd say the fact that the university helped me with that was probably the coolest part. So yeah, I did 3.5 years in the United Kingdom.
Why did you pick Shanghai out of curiosity for your year abroad?
I kind of wanted to do something a little bit out of, or I'd say way out of my comfort zone.
Mhm.
I had spent a lot of time in Europe. I mean, we traveled a lot with, as you mentioned, right before, my family and I, we traveled a lot growing up. We moved around a lot, I mean, and we lived in Africa, in Europe, some parts of Asia, but I really hadn't been to, the Far East.
Mhm.
And I said, why not? Let's give it a try. Let's see if it works. Let's go far, far from home. See you later.
That part I understand. How did mom feel about the "see you later"?
I
Ciao,
think they
Bella.
were, I think they were a bit worried because it was the first time I was, what, like 19. A
Yeah.
lot of people really do have those experiences at that age, but when I was traveling or if I had those experiences, the furthest I would go was, the US, which is still quite close to home for me, or around
Right.
Europe. So I was like far out.
Yeah. Well, that
Um,
the net can still sort of catch you in the US, you know what I mean? I mean, your
yeah.
grandmother can still have her deploy her spies. I can go, do a recovery operation if we find you've got needles in your arm and, in the gas lamp district or something. So, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, Shanghai's a little bit trickier.
Outside,
And
yeah.
do you think that helped before we get into kind of what Tête-à-Tête does, do you think
Mhm.
that helped shape kind of your journey? Because obviously there are amazing tech entrepreneurs there and a lot of technology, just amazing things comes out of that region.
Yeah, they do great things. I mean, Shanghai is a really international city to begin with. I mean, to be honest, I was surprised when I got there, but I think more so like indirectly, just
Mhm,
by people and seeing how we interact with each other, from when there's a lot of different barriers, like language
mm,
barrier here. I think it just kind of shaped the way I see and have experienced human connection.
mhm,
What this app is about. And so obviously it wasn't something that I thought about then and there, but
right,
it did kind of, you know, build this idea of, we all connect differently,
mhm,
whether dating, whether it's outside of dating,
yeah,
but the most important thing I think that kind of we have in our core as humans, that this is like human connection
yeah.
is itself the most important thing. And we all do it differently. And so it's very hard to, you know, find the right solution to get people to connect. But when I was there, definitely I was like, yeah, this is really cool. Like meeting all sorts of people.
All right, let's pull back the curtain. So tell us what your app does exactly. And I'm an serial entrepreneur, so my question is
Mhm.
always, what problem does it solve? So tell us a little bit about that. Give us your pitch.
My pitch. So it's a dating app in short. Tête-à-tête is a French word that we also use in English, but it is a French word and it means face to face.
Mhm,
And that's, that's the app is being built on the idea that the best connections aren't on screens, they're face
mhm,
to face. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people to connect face to face and build actual human connection. And dating apps today are failing us.
mhm,
Human connection crisis. We are in the biggest loneliness epidemic. 1 in 4 people are lonely today.
mhm,
And there are a lot of problems that we face when we are lonely. There's increase in depression, there's increases in your premature risks, premature deaths. So these
Mhm.
are statistics that have been proven, right? These are proven statistics that, these things happen when there is an increase in loneliness. And the very tools that are supposed to connect us, like dating apps, the traditional dating apps, they're not doing their job. So what's happening is that if you look at the dating app funnel, oversimplify this as much as I can. And then when you match with someone after the swiping, you have the messaging, and then after the messaging, you eventually the goal is to meet that person.
Right.
And there is a lot of leakage, and that means that there's a lot of the conversion between each step gets worse and worse.
Mhm.
Your goal, which is to meet that person. And so today, the model of traditional dating apps is extremely inefficient.
Yep.
So if you top of the funnel, which is swiping, and you look at the end, which is meeting, that conversion is less than 1%. So the
Oh,
likelihood of
I
you
didn't
meeting,
realize that. That is really low. Now, let
yeah,
me ask you a question because it was, I mean, since one of my favorite subjects in the world is catfishing and conning people, and I just love the Tinder swindler and all that stuff. I don't mean I like we don't need to get hate mail. I don't mean I love and support it. I mean it just if I find it fascinating. So the first thing I think of when you think of, the 1% is like what percentage of the people that start at the top of the funnel do you think actually genuinely want to go on a date or meet somebody? I know what they say on their profile, right? Oh, I'm looking for the long term, blah, 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 unless they're on like Grinder or something. But assuming what percent do you think are just kind of on there because they're bored or on there? Because there's got to be some percentage of that, or on there because, hey, they're trying to, pull some scam or whatever. I'm always amazed when I watch these documentaries and things of how many women, usually it's men doing it to women, but it certainly can be the reverse. How many these guys have going at the same time, right?
Mhm.
So is it, 2% that kind of has no intention of ever doing anything, or do you think it's 10 and maybe it's just an educated guess? How would you weigh it?
The way I kind of structure that is, and this goes back to who we're building the app for. So
Mhm.
the people that are, I call them like intentional daters,
Mhm.
is 60%. So 60, generally speaking, right, is 60% of people on dating apps are intentional about meeting. But
That
then you
is
have,
a huge, so 40% are
yeah,
really there to waste your time.
I mean, there can be like a number of, I guess, not excuses, but reasons why,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
you know,
okay, I shouldn't say it that way that it's, like, intentionally wasted, but they are
but yeah, there
they're
could be,
not, like, totally committed to the
yeah,
process. I mean,
meeting.
they're maybe half in, half out, or maybe all out or
Yeah.
bored or whatever, but I did not
Mhm.
think it was that high. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's high.
so this is obviously something then that your app can massively help solve because it's gonna weed out those people. Because in
Yeah.
your case, you are looking for the face to face. I mean, some of these catfish things, you can't even get these people on video. And you're saying, forget about video, right? You're saying, like, meet me in the park.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. It,
Right? I mean, that is the net a tête-à-tête, right? I mean, that's the
that's
bottom line is, "Oh, hi, I like you and your smile, like, see me at Piccadilly Circle," right? And let's see if we hit it off.
idea is that like we build for it's not a it's for because a lot of dating apps now are building for niche audiences, niche, like a niche target audience, which could be like around religion, like a dating app only for Jewish people or Muslim people or, you know, people in the LGBTQ community. So we're building more for niche intentions. So they are going on the app specifically because they're like, I don't want to waste my time swiping through hundreds of profiles, trying to get to that person that might say yes to my date.
Yeah.
We're building for people who are like, I'm going on this app and I'm going to actually meet someone. And the way that works is a user goes on our app, they creates their profile and they create a date proposal. They choose a venue, and the
Mhm.
venue, restaurant, a bar, an art gallery, could be a sports game. It could also be a walk in the park. They
Yeah.
post with the time and the day, and then
Mhm.
you request that date proposal. And then when the other user accepts the request, they synced into their calendar. They have their date. That's all they need to do, and they're just
Okay, so
expected
wait
to.
a second. So pause. So
Yeah.
okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you have two people on the app, right, on in their own, closets doing whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
And one of them, can it be the chick or the guy, or does it have to, like, how does that work? Can it be either one initiating?
Anyone can propose dates on our app.
Okay.
What we've seen so far, so with our early signups,
Mhm.
what we saw is that so men do like to propose dates, but they're less descriptive. And
Oh, right, because 'cause they're just well, who knows? They might be, and we hope not, but they might just be like, "Meet me, blah, blah," and, hoping, yeah, because they've got a wide net they wanna catch, whereas the chick,
yeah,
she's
exactly.
looking
I
for a
mean,
baby daddy. Yeah. Okay.
it's like what we see is that the guy will propose like a restaurant, drinks kind of thing. But what we try to do on our app is we try to kind of push the user to make their date proposal a little bit more descriptive and interesting, so their date gets picked, right? So we're trying to even the playing field. But what we saw with our early signups is that uh, women were super descriptive of their dates and really interested. They
Exactly,
have,
which is then they're gonna marry these guys who are gonna complain later that they gave the description and said, "Make a right at the red farmhouse, go 20 feet, you're gonna see a goat, you're gonna make a left, the goat is always tied up," right? And now that's like the classic thing of like, men and women. So I see problems down the road, but from a business perspective, I have so many business ideas for you. I feel like we could just workshop this right now. So by the way, if you would like to propose a collab to Sebastian, we are going to tell you how to find him at the end of this, because I see so many things like right out the gate. I see like an upcharge, not an upcharge, whatever you call it, like a premium subscription where I'm a guy, I'm going to propose this stuff. I'm going to read it as like, because I always say every guy needs a girl best friend who's not trying to bang him, right? Like, who has no vested interest, because they're the ones that are going to suss out the wackadoodle do girls. They're going to, because women and women, you just can tell, right? So
Mhm.
I see the premium subscription as the guy's like, I don't know what to write, right? And he's got the little, Sebastian Tinkerbell in the pocket going, okay, how about if you just massage this a little? Like, this is great, but, how about if
Yes.
you said drinks at sunset at, under the dark lamppost of Piccadilly Circle in full view of the police station where you turn right. Yeah. But you get what I'm saying, right? Because I'm sure that they're going to, and they don't know exactly what to do. And by the way, it's a new app, right? It's not like people are used to freaking describing apps. I mean, I'm very used to all that because I do it for my vision board every day. I mean, I've had to, since I was whatever years old, thinking if I can manifest this, I'm going to paint the picture and rip it out of the magazine. But most people are not crazy like me, and they're going to go, okay, meet me. So what do most guys? So give us an example. What do most guys like? What's like a typical thing they post versus the girls? I mean, is it the girls are saying take a right at the goat and take a left at the purple mailbox, or am I just being a brat?
So, I mean, so you would have your date title, right? So you'd
Mhm.
give your title, like on the map, you would type in the venue that you'd like to go to. For now, it's just completely up to the user. Later, we're gonna have like recommendations from our app. The more the app knows the user, the more we can give better recommendations for venues or
And
date
I hope
proposals.
you're getting a cut from those venues, man. I'd like to fly out there right
Yeah.
now and get that
That's,
negotiate that deal, but that's okay. So what do they put to propose the venue? I mean, is it like, what does the guy literally put? Like, give us
So yeah, so
this.
then they would put the venue, like it could be, let's say they start at the restaurant, like it's a restaurant, right? Easiest example. So they have a restaurant in mind, they'll type it in, they select the restaurant that literally appears,
Mhm.
and there's a pin that drops on that restaurant,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they time, like the time, let's say they put Thursday 8 p.m. because
So
that's
it's
when
like
they're
a dead drop. It's a little bit like a
yeah.
dead drop with the gold KGB where you put the thing, here's the pin, but in this case, instead of the chalk under the bridge, you're saying put the pin and meet me
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
But have you communicated with this person at all, or is this just based on looks and their profile?
Yeah, it's based on, well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to move beyond just the profile. We're trying to put the actual activity, the experience first. Of course, you can see who's proposing the date because, that's still important today.
Can see the face, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you can see
So
the
it's like
face.
Love is Blind meets a dead drop with the KGB meets uh like eHarmony, because it sounds like it's a little bit more, you know, actual, like not so much like bang me here, bang me now, like Grinder or something.
No, I mean, I can't speak for the goals of my users,
Yeah.
but our goal is to get them to meet, and then anything outside of, that they're welcome to do whatever they
Okay,
want.
well, so then okay, thank you. Point noted. Now, but do you have like cameras or anything? Because the first thing I would do, freaking, if I were you, is I'd have cameras everywhere. I mean, I would see these pins drop, and I would have a ficus on my head. I would be. I mean, I'd be everywhere recording this for some kind of future reality TV show. But I'm assuming you don't do that. But do you spy at all? Like, will you give us any dirt? Do you?
I haven't spied on any of
Oh,
the date.
dude, you're missing such an
I
opportunity. Can
I
I
can't.
spy? Like, what if I pay my own way? Okay, can I go over there and spy? And you know what? Can I freaking fly Francie and her broken leg and her bad hip? And can Francie and I just go and handle this? Because I think we could move this along. I mean, we would see these people and be like, "Ma'am, you need to shorten your skirt. You need to, bat your eyes a little more." I mean, I
Yeah,
I actually am good at this. I'd like to propose myself to be your AI Tinkerbell, because I can close a deal. Okay. But anyway, so back to the, so you haven't spied. So they go and
haven't
meet.
spied yet. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you know how it goes? Or are you just waiting on them to tell you?
Yeah, so what we want to do right now, it's just very, it's our MVP, it's our first launch. It's very just like create the day, uh,
An
you know,
MVP for
sh-
is minimum viable product, right?
yeah, meaning
Okay.
like it's our first version of our app.
Got it.
Uh, we're just trying to get users to meet. We get the users to give us feedback about each other, meaning
Okay.
were they on time, were they who they said they were, but we don't want to do it in a way that, let's say I went on a date with someone and it didn't go great. I don't want to make it where I'm going to where that person will give me a bad review just because I didn't.
Yeah, well, obviously, if it didn't, you wouldn't have a business. I mean, heads up. So
Yeah.
you're trying to get them to basically say kind of more the facts, right? Like, were they on
Yes,
time? Did the
exactly.
picture match? Were
Yes.
they? Did they say they were 6 feet tall and
Mm,
handsome? And in fact, it was Grandpa Joe, who's 5'2" and
exactly. And so
needs a
we want to
gastric sleeve. Okay,
quickly, as soon as possible, quickly eliminate those people off our app. Not eliminate, sorry. We want to remove those people off our
remove.
app.
Got it. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's you know our app can die super quickly if you
Yeah.
have just a bad like your first date experience on our app. If it's not really good,
Yeah.
then users really quickly. And our whole point is that we want to, we're not promising you'll find the love of your life, but we
Yeah.
are promising that you will have a better date experience because you're matching based off of a date proposal that you both
Right.
align with, where you're
Right.
going, and already that is going to be super fun. And so
Yeah.
we're probably better experience, a better dating experience, right? Get married, then I
Then
did half the job, or the other
Well, yeah,
half.
then I would have you be taking a cut from the divorce attorney later, but that's a whole other collaboration. Do you have, and I know it's early, right? Do you have any
Mhm.
statistics on how these first dates go, or what percentage of them kind of are what they say they are, or
So far,
they say they are?
we were manually setting them up before.
Not okay.
We we just launched, so we've just started getting our dates out there.
Got it.
Before, so post dates, they were quite positive, meaning we haven't, formed any couples yet,
Mm-hmm.
but feedback that was super positive for me, for us, and for the team
Mm-hmm.
was that the process of getting to the date was super efficient.
Ah, good. Okay. So number, like, one of your key things is a comp, check the box.
Yeah, exactly. It was,
Okay.
we aligned on where we're going. We aligned on what to do. We aligned what time and what day super
Yeah.
quickly because we didn't have to go back and forth and figure that out.
Oh, that's awesome.
We matched first on, on the experience, what we're going to do, and then everything else just fits. And
Yeah.
that's I was basically acting as like the app before.
Yeah. Got it.
So through this process on our app, yeah, the feedback we got on our process has been really positive and very efficient, and we're happy with that.
So people download it right now. It's not in every city in the world, right? What cities, where is it?
Right now we're focusing on Madrid. Focus on Madrid for now, for the next probably the next couple months. It depends how quickly we
Hmm.
grow. And then probably we'll do Barcelona next, just because, it's
Yeah.
better to stay. And then because of the name and just what it means, probably go to Paris and France.
I would suggest that highly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's a good place to head.
Because what we think about is, okay, what cities are there a lot of things to do in, and what cities have a lot of, international people and a
Right.
strong, going out and doing things type of culture, right?
Mhm.
It's just like Madrid is great for that. People love to go out, people love to do things and have, to just go on activities. And so it's a great place to start. But Paris also has that, London also has that, Amsterdam also has that. So that's
Oh,
kind of,
well, yeah, Amsterdam's, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're heading in one direction for sure there with Amsterdam. Um, yeah, that's a whole other podcast. So let me ask you a question. The I mean, to me, another idea that comes like
right.
I can't help like every time I talk to you, I feel like I'm talking to you, and then I have like 10 business things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Sebastian, you could do this, you could do this. And that's the curse of the entrepreneur, right? It's figuring out what to focus on. But one of the things that as you were talking about these different cities, and we were talking about it at the beginning of the podcast, was kind of the loneliness component, et cetera, is I'm also and then you mentioned yourself, you were abroad for school. Like one of the things that I think would be amazing is kind of focusing or having some piece of your target audience be the expat market, right? Where you are, I don't know, you're 22 and or you have your first job, or you're American, but your first job is in London or something like that. And I think that would be a great way to sort of kind of solve a lot of those problems, and maybe could be a stepping stone to like another incentive to get people to just try it. And then of course we all know in business it'll ebb and flow. It's whatever way it's supposed to. But that could be kind of cool as far as customer
so of course right now, although our mark because we have said that we are a dating app, so all our marketing and our target audience is for people in that space, but there's nothing.
saying expats dating. I'm not saying expats going for, friendship. I'm saying, hey, listen, like kill two birds with one stone. But anyway, keep going.
Yes, actually, yes, you're right. But also for me, what's interesting is like with this model, you can eventually, and there's nothing stopping us from doing it later on, but you can eventually take it outside the scope of dating, where it's like, as you mentioned, if you're a student, you're coming to a new city
Yeah.
and you want to meet people who perhaps like to do sports, or who like to go to
Right.
art galleries, or who like to, I don't know, do those things. And maybe it's hard to
Right.
find that when you're focused on moving and integrating in the city. And
Well, here's
so,
the other thing too that I'm thinking of, just kind of off the top of my head, is I'm thinking so many times how, and granted, this is a totally different audience, but you're young and you're going to have plenty of time to develop this stuff. But the other thing I'm thinking is how many times, like the husband or the wife loses their spouse, and she just wants quote some, which I never used to understand when I was young. I kind of now, as I'm getting older, understand a little more. You just want quote somebody to go to the XYZ with. So it's a little bit like an escort service, I guess, but like on a classed up level. Like, let's say if you propose a date and it's, you really want to go see this amazing pianist who's in town, and you don't have somebody else to go with. And it's not even, let's say, a money issue. Let's say it's something like, fricker, you have tickets to something in the park where it's free. That could be a great thing where you're like, "Hey,
yeah,
let's have a coffee or something before," and then you have somebody to go with and see
yeah,
how it goes.
absolutely.
And yeah,
And
okay.
I like that you said that, because it's so when we think loneliness, we think a lot of the times like relationships, dating, girlfriend, boyfriend, wife,
Mhm,
or partner, or in whatever capacity, but it's
mhm,
also like friends, or just the human
right.
connection. People just need to do things with other people.
Yeah,
And, like I said, right now we're focused on dating, but there's nothing stopping us from going outside of that and just
yeah,
connecting people.
Right.
To solve for this loneliness problem.
Well, and the other thing I really want to emphasize is I'm saying you can still have it be like this is for date. You know what I mean? Like the woman who is wants somebody to go to XYZ place. So she's. I mean, probably. I mean, I know a lot of older women right now who've lost a husband or whatever, and
Hmm.
would love to be in a relationship again, or would love to, but they're not meeting the right men. Let's say that are in their same socioeconomic class or something like that, whereas this would be a good way to do it. And sometimes, let's face it, if the barriers to entry are lowered just a bit, you know, let's say with a gun shy kind of group, let's say like older people or something where they're like, okay, you need to be on here to ultimately be open to having a relationship, but it can start in this direction. So it doesn't feel so like, "Oh my gosh, you know, I'm 75. Am I gonna have to sleep with them, after
Yeah,
that?" You know?
true. Yeah, there's a
Whatever.
lot of alignment with intention. Like, what does this person expect from me? Do we have the
Right.
same intention? Do we have the same, like, what are we both looking for? And that's something we filter for right off the bat on our app,
Yeah.
which a lot of dating apps say they like they do, but I
Yeah.
think fail at that, where
Yeah.
they filter for the right people. But it's also difficult to do, which I understand. But that's what we'll be focusing on
Well,
as
and the
well.
the other thing, I mean, I come back to too is you're picking some beautiful cities. I mean, I've been to all the cities you're
Yeah.
talking about, and your target audience, I'm assuming it skews younger, and I would be all day long focusing on beautiful cities with, oh, and then hashtag tête-à-tête, got us where we are today, kind of thing. Because
Mhm.
it's like people, everybody's on social media these days, or where are you advertising? What's your customer acquisition strategy?
So we're on Instagram. We obviously do, the whole paid media,
Hmm.
TikTok. We do. So I have someone handling my Instagram because I'm not very. I don't have a personal Instagram myself, which is
Hmm.
not probably the best thing I should be doing. But I do the TikTok,
If
which
I were
is
your
all.
girlfriend, by the way, I wouldn't let you out there either. So that's probably the smartest thing you've got going for you. But anyway. Mhm.
No, but I focus mainly on the TikTok because I can kind of be myself, where I
Yeah.
can post about what I'm doing, what I'm creating, kind of just very raw, unfiltered
Yeah.
footage. And people kind of like that. People like to see that. And I think people kind of relate to
Yeah.
the whole, oh, this isn't perfect and this isn't like, fake or kind of BS.
No, I mean,
So,
well, I will attest to that. I mean, you're a young guy who's obviously very well educated from a very smart family who is trying to change the dating experience and who's really in the weeds. I mean, you are facing all those things as entrepreneurs that we face, which is a lot of people can have a great idea. Actually try to
mhm,
turn it into something, actually get to the point where it functions on somebody's phone. Wow. I mean,
yeah.
that's a lot. And I think it is. I think it's important too for younger people to realize. I mean, I do a lot of media, and a lot of questions these days are about, well, this age group, they don't want to come to work. They want to be working at home. They want to be, the social skills. They don't have the interact, they're so smart, but because of COVID or whatever, they don't have the skills, to interact. I mean, your app really jumps in and starts to solve some of these problems, like kind of on the dating side that then flow over to other areas. But being an entrepreneur at a young age, I mean, everybody thinks, "Oh, I'm gonna leave the corporate world and I'm gonna go be my own boss." And I'm like, "Sugar, put on your seatbelt because you're gonna wish in about 10 minutes, maybe not 10 minutes, but 10 months in, you're gonna be like, 'Oh my god, like, I am never gonna get a vacation. At this rate, I am never gonna get paid, most importantly,' right? I mean, it's all those things. It all looks like, 'Oh, my boss is making so much money,' and all until you try to do it yourself and you realize, A, it can be a long, lonely journey, You want to talk about something that will F with your mind, it's entrepreneurship. And I think that's great. I think the more you can show of, behind the scenes and in the trenches, but like you're not giving up. That's a huge part of all of this, whether it's dating or business or anything else. You just can't give up.
It's funny because I was working right before my master's. I was working corporate. I used to work in New York, and I was like, this is fun. I can do this. I can, I enjoy this. You're making relatively good money. You're happy. Obviously, not all days are the best days, but that's
Yeah.
okay. You have structure.
Yeah,
And
but
then
you're
I
young and you have energy, so you can go
yeah,
and work those million hours and then go to a fabulous bar and
exactly.
hang out with your
And
friends and be hungover and start again the
yeah,
next
yeah,
day. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. Whereas the rest of us are like, oh my God, I need to be in bed by
yeah.
9:20. Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
I didn't really think I would have been in this position today, which is funny because I was so happy, working. I was always thinking, okay, after this job, I'm gonna try to do this job and work at this company. It was just kind of
Right.
like climbing the
Yeah.
come do my master's because I wanted to specialize in something, and then I find myself in this position where I'm like, damn, it's just
Well,
I'm
let me
just
tell you something. You're going to be asking yourself, how did I get here? About 9,000 more
yeah.
times in that life of yours, which is why I have a podcast called Every Day's a Train Wreck. Okay. Because it is very often, how did what happened that I got myself here? So why did you make the leap? I mean, I'm sure you're very hireable and I'm sure as they say, I mean, you're very smart. You've got a terrific background. So why jump into the world of entrepreneurship?
I think it was more I think it was more like the problem that I was solving was so
Mhm,
interesting
mhm,
and what I was building for, who I was building for.
mhm.
I just completely fell in love with it as
Like
I
the
was going.
passion of fixing something.
Yeah. And it was the first time where I really felt like I would wake up in the morning from from waking up, and I'm not exaggerating when I said from waking up in the morning to going to bed, that's all I would think about and all I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, let's do that until whatever I have this passion about what I'm building and what I'm doing. Let's do that until it dies, like until I don't feel it anymore. So
Yeah,
far, I've just loving it. It gets me out of bed. It gets me
yeah.
going and happy. Obviously, there are days where I'm just like,
Well, come on. I mean, that's
"Where's the-"
anything, even if you were, yeah, on a yacht every day, you'd be like, "Oh, today I got a sunburn or it rained." I mean, there's some of
Right.
that to everything, but there's a terrific quote. I can't remember who said it, but it's many times when on my entrepreneurial journey where I've been like, "Oh my God, what am I doing? How'd I get here? Why?" I mean, like, this is ridiculous. And then I stumbled across this quote that was, "Never give up on something you can't go a day without thinking about."
Oh wow, I
Right?
love
And
that.
if you
Yeah,
think about it, that's
that's
it. Because if you're in the shower and the next idea comes, or you're in a conversation with somebody and you like, "Oh, that'd be a great blah, blah, blah," or you're on your phone and you think, "I could create an ad like that," or that to me is when you've still got the juice in the tank, assuming there's still a problem to be solved. And yeah, and you just keep going for it. Well, because you are the oldest, right, of the three boys, or no?
the middle.
Oh, you're the middle. Okay, so what do the older one and the younger one think about this? Like, have you set them up at all?
well, the older one is in a long-term committed relationship,
No, for
so
God's sakes. I
no.
mean, this is useless. I mean, you people are developing, yeah, okay, anyway, he a lot like, all right, there you go.
So he's quite he loves the idea. He's been probably my number one supporter, my older brother since
Well,
day
that's
one.
not good because that could mean he's got trouble in paradise, so that might not be as stable as you
I
hope. I'm just kidding.
more from and then my little brother, he's single. He's probably the best looking out of all three of us. So if anyone,
I will tell you, you guys need to fricking Google these boys because it is Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Is this an
he's
inappropriate comment? I just saw something that Catherine Zeta-Jones, who's probably my age, but was just outed for saying there was some 12-year-old she met or something, and she said, "Oh, in 30 years you'll be 42 and I'll be 70," or whatever it was, and the whole where everybody's like, "That is so creepy," and I was like, "Frick, I'd raise my hand." That kid he was a little snuggler. But, yeah, yeah, you guys are some good-looking stock. I just,
Thank you.
Are you gonna toss him out there to try the app or what?
I've tried. I mean, he's an interesting one. So I honestly I will applaud anyone who can tie him down. Not that he's like
No, but he's a
a
free spirit.
thing, but he's just a free spirit.
Yeah.
He's just like, don't bother me. He's the younger one. I think
And
that
when is he born? Okay, maybe we got to tie this back to astrology.
he's
When is he
19. He 2005
and what's his
in
birthday?
October 9th.
October. He's a Libra. That's interesting. Okay, so he's the
Sorry,
balance
2004,
one.
I think.
He's
Remember.
got to have a very interesting rising
No,
sign.
he's super like this a lot of this word that people use a lot, nonchalant.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Suave
Uh,
Bulla. I'm sure he is.
yeah,
He's a lady killer. What about okay, so then wait, when's your birthday?
I'm in March 17th. I'm a Pisces.
Oh, God bless you. Okay, no wonder I have two boys that are who are Pisces, and I am just so used to that. Ooh, free flowing. There goes the fish. Okay. And then what about the older one? When is his birthday?
He's June 9th.
Oh, that's a
He's,
Gemini,
yeah,
man. Ooh la la. Okay.
he's, yeah,
All right.
he's protective older brother, so it's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, okay, so then what do your
Yeah.
parents think about
So my dad,
it?
he is supportive, but he's just like, do your thing, but at some point you're gonna have to get a job, which I
Oh, well,
agree.
wait a second. Okay, so when I was talking to Sebastian about the app before this podcast, right? And and I had just come back from a workout and I was on a tear, okay, to be honest at the end. So Sebastian, we were going through all these different things about what the podcast was going to be and then I don't know, Sebastian, you asked me some somewhat open-ended question. And I was like, let me tell you what everybody's going to tell you. They're going to tell you, when are you going to start making money? This is stupid. How long are you going to do this? What, I mean, hasn't this been done before? Why are you the one to do it? Blah, blah. And you started laughing a few things. I was like, maybe I had a nerve. Maybe because I've had parents who have said that to me my whole life. Sorry. Okay. So that's okay. But your dad, to be fair, is very, very smart, but is not an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, he's probably, I would say, he's an entrepreneur in his in the corporate world, in where he
Yes.
works. So, he's obviously created and built things inside the company that he works in.
But he has that framework. So,
Exactly. And
please
for
don't
him,
kill
that
me later, okay? But it is different, and I think sometimes that you
yes.
gotta underscore that, and I think the people who are because I think entrepreneurs are crazy. I mean, if you really think about it, right? Like, who is gonna risk I mean, what we risk to start our companies and our ideas and my God, to keep them going in tough times because there are always going to be tough times, right? There is no smooth sailing anything. I don't care if it's a unicorn like Uber or anything else. It's just not always that way, right? So I do think it's important to that it's a different journey. And if you are if you're an entrepreneur, you've got that drive. I mean, it's like, watch out. It is like a
Yeah,
train. Nothing,
you have
nothing
to
is
have
going
it.
to get you right. I mean, your parents, I'm sure, could tell you all day long, "Oh, just take this job. So and so would love to hire you for their firm," and
Mhm.
you're just like, "No, I want to do this," and it doesn't make sense because probably right now what you're making versus what you could be making is vastly different.
Zero.
Yeah, yes,
Zero.
yeah. Well, might be zero for a little bit. That's okay. I'll send you my book. But are you making any money? And that will get you on that path. But so, and
No,
then
I
what
get
about
that.
your mom? Okay, so they're
Yeah.
supportive though. But I mean, and then is
Yes,
your
they're both.
mom like, oh yay, go for it, or is she like towing the hard line with your dad as well?
I mean, they're both like super supportive, and they
Right.
have my family in general
Yeah.
are my supporters, and they've been supportive from the beginning. But of course, you have to be realistic, and they're the ones who kind of, will sometimes bring my feet back to earth and say,
Yeah.
listen, like you have this, and in a way that's like, what if it doesn't work out? And that's something that we might be scared to ask ourselves as entrepreneurs. But I'm like, yeah, what if it doesn't work out? What's the plan B? So they're just always
Oh
think,
my God. I mean, what if it doesn't work out? My Lord in heaven, you could be on OnlyFans. I mean, sorry, that would be the immediate cash flow problem. I can't imagine you've got a big mortgage or a Ferrari that you're trying to pay for, right? So, what if it doesn't work out is that you're going to have this amazing thing on your resume where you started an app and blah, 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 and you saw it to X point. I think you're going to have something amazing is going to come out of it, right? As it always
mhm,
does,
yeah,
whether it's the app being sold to whatever for $1 billion, or as you and I were talking previously, if it's, corridor thinking on the way, you do a podcast about the app, you're developing the app, and somebody comes in and says, "Hey, would you want to do this with me?"
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
only because you were developing the app did you go down that path, and that's what
Yeah.
did it. But that's how life is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, but at the moment, everyone's just like, go as far as you can, take it as far as you can. Right now, it's the only thing I think about is like, this is, it's from day one until
Right.
today. It's your personality. It's what you talk about. I actually asked her recently. I was like, does it bother you that all I talk about is the dating app and the app? And she's like, no, it's okay.
She's lying to you, by the way, because I'm working like the regular listeners of this know I'm working on this project to with the sheep and the wool to prevent the spread of wildfires, and I'm actually very soon can talk about it a lot more. But I think that's all I talk about half the time is sheep. And my daughter, I just said, "Oh, do you want to go to dinner with Pop Up with my dad and her grandfather?" She's crazy about it. And she's just like, "Mom, I really want to see Pop Up, but I cannot talk about sheep anymore." I'll go over there. It's the sheep. And I know that is all you are going to talk about with him is the sheep. And I get it. Does get obnoxious, but I think sometimes you have to be that
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
about,
I think it's you have to be obsessed.
right?
Yeah,
Exactly. You have to be
yeah.
obsessed. And because that obsession is what keeps your synapses sort of firing, right? So
Mhm.
that you're like, "Ooh," because let's face it, it's often this one little tiny decision you made, right? One networking event you went to that you weren't going to. One interview you did for something that you didn't even think was worth your time, right? And it leads to boom. And you've got to be, hyper ready to jump into that. Well, so how does it work now? So if somebody's in the US and is listening to this, can they go to their iPhone and download your app? Or no, is it just if you're only in the certain or they can download it, but they'd have to be willing to go on a date in Madrid?
Yes, exactly. It's
Okay.
that one. Anyone can download it,
Okay.
but you to be in Madrid for a date. Right now, what we're focusing on is obviously we thought about, oh, what if someone is traveling to Madrid and wants to set up a date for themselves when they get there?
Yeah.
Yes, but right now we would just want to focus on people who are in Madrid because a lot of the times you match with people on traditional apps that are outside of your
Yeah.
city, outside you would live
Yeah.
in, and we want to avoid that for now. So
Yeah.
we just want to, you know, the hyper intentional people that are here in Madrid and want to
Yeah.
meet each other.
Yeah.
But we get to the point where it's like, okay, if I'm traveling to another country, I'll set my a date for myself when I get there.
Yeah. So the world is your oyster. Okay, you guys. Well, we've got to make sure that we help Sebastian out here. We spread the word on all social media platforms. There's nothing I like more than taking a corporate executive down. I mean, and proving that an entrepreneur and their crazy ideas can do it. So, Sebastian, tell us the name of the app again, how to spell it, where to find you on social media. If somebody wants to invest and bring the app to their part of the world, how do they find you?
Yeah, so my name is Sebastian Schmid. You can find me on LinkedIn. The name of the app is Tête-à-Tête. So it's Tete with a little line A with a little line Tete. Or you can just put Tete space A Tete and you'll find it. So yeah, that's how you can find our page. We're TETEATETE.co as well. That's our website.
Great. Okay.
And you can also find all the information there. So yeah, hopefully if anyone's interested and just wants to talk about it as well. I love talking about the app, dating, the dating culture today and everything else. So
Well, we will
yes.
definitely have you back so we can talk about that. For sure, we'll have you back so that we can air something around the time of Valentine's Day for the US. But in the meantime, we're going to blast this out for you. And I can't thank you enough for your time when you have those dark days, because you will. I hope they are very far in your future. But when you have them, just keep in mind, there is just so much you learn just in the process of building something. So never ever give up, as Winston Churchill has said. And you guys, that's another episode. This went so quickly, but please reach out to Sebastian. If you haven't subscribed to the show, please do so. Please give us any kind of comment, 5-star review, please. We would love that. And if you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at The Prophet Goddess or at The Party Goddess. So thank you again, Sebastian. Thanks for being here. And shout out, thank you, Francie, for giving me Sebastian for a couple hours of his time. And he's waving and says hi. And Francie, somehow we're going to teach you how to watch this on YouTube. So,
oh yeah, we'll get there.
All right. There you go. Okay, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.